What do you got?
Standouts to you tonight? Anybody that really head and shoulders above everybody else?
Yeah, obviously the heavyweight. That guy, 24 years old, 6'7", 7-0, 6 knockouts. Love it. And then obviously Elijah Smith, very impressed with him too.
I just realized you said you're rushing because you have a flight to catch. So there's probably not a departure time, like you're okay.
No, there's not, but there's customs that you have to catch customs right or you are fucked.
All right. Any thoughts of 2 contracts in the main event? That was a hell of a fight. Did you have any thoughts at all? I know that's not something you do very often, but was it?
No, listen, I felt like Elijah came out dead serious in the first round. Aaron was kind of playing around and taking it lightly. You saw in the second round he was not. He found out Elijah came here to fight, and then when Aaron dug in, it turned into a fight once he got serious. And what was great is this kid took this fight on 3 weeks' notice, ended up in a dog fight with a tough, badass dude, and dug deep and pulled. In the third round, when he was like trying to go for the feet, I said, "It's done. It's over." Elijah just broke and quit, and he stood up and just started going to war. And I said, "All right, Elijah, I apologize. I counted you out too quick." And he dug deep, and those two were both just dropping bombs. I mean, I was already standing up clapping with 10 seconds left of the fight. It was a great fight, much respect for both guys, and yeah, it was a fun one.
A UFC veteran's son in the UFC. I mean, give me your thoughts on that. I mean, does it make you feel old?
I'm old, yeah, exactly. That means I'm old, yeah, but very cool. Very cool to see that come around, yeah.
I want to ask you about UFC Africa. You know, obviously an African standout tonight. I mean, kid looks incredibly good. But where do you stand on an event over there, a PI over there, and just the future of the sport with athletes over there?
I've been saying this. I said, wait till we build I said it to the guys at the table tonight. Wait till we build a PI in Africa, and some of these guys start coming in from, at a young age and learning everything. It's like, just like Mexico. Wait until 5, 6, 7 years, Mexico, same thing's going to happen. And who knows with Africa? It could be even crazier.
How far are we away on that? I know you want to do next year. You want to take Drickus there.
Just open Mexico, yeah. These things aren't cheap. They're very expensive. They take time, and, it's a massive reinvestment in the sport.
Nice.
We have 3 of them now, 3 PIs. They're fucking expensive, so I don't know.
Worth the expense, though?
Huh?
Worth the expense? Like an investment? I mean,
yeah, well, you have to do it. I mean, you have to reinvest in the sport, or we're boxing in 10 years.
I want to ask you about Ahmad. You said you were going to pass, but Sean Shelby wanted him. Does he need to send a thank you note to Sean Shelby, like he was done if Sean didn't ask for him?
Yeah, I wasn't going to take him, but I always, I ask the boys, what do you guys think? I give them my opinion. This is what I think, and then Sean wanted him, so. Yeah, 100% Sean Shelby. So he owes Sean for that one.
So if he fails, it's Sean's fault.
What's that?
If he fails, it's Sean's fault.
No, if he fails, that failing is up to him. Whether he succeeds or fails is up to him. But yeah, Sean wanted him. So hey, listen, I come in here one night. I don't know anything about these guys. I see who they are and what they got in one night, and I decide whether I want them or not. Sean Shelby and Mick Maynard know everything about these guys, and Sean wanted them. So there you go.
Nice. I know you're in a rush, but I did want to ask you outside of tonight, we're a few days removed now from the Sphere, the show that you built up. I mean, we talked about it on Saturday night, but in retrospect, a few days removed, soaking it all in, what are your thoughts on what unfolded on Saturday?
Well, I don't think that we've ever done an event, even 300. I mean, name the event. We've never done an event where days after, I mean, my phone is still blowing up from people hitting me about the experience. We flew to L.A. yesterday for meetings, and, there and back in Vegas at the airport, people were, it's just, I don't know if I've ever been a part of an event where so many days after, people are still sending me texts and pictures. And when I run into people that are Mexican, they go crazy. And I don't know if you saw the post that I posted, but that was sent to Craig Borsari. It's awesome. I mean, that text is awesome.
Yeah. I know that the MGM deal is in place. It was a one-off, but given all that, given that excitement, given the what's happening, do you feel like that is a future venue for the UFC? Like it's not one and done?
I'm already looking at going to Mexico next year. I want to go to Guadalajara next year for Noche. Nice. They're building a new arena there. It'll be done in 25, and yeah, I'll go there. I'm not even thinking about doing Vegas now for Noche. After the way that whole thing went down, just left a bad taste in my mouth. We'll do Mexico. We'll go to Texas. We'll go to Arizona. We'll go to different places now for Noche. Vegas can have the boxing matches.
Dana, you said about that whole thing with the MGM Arena guy. Did you ever hear his reaction to the Sphere show and everything like that?
I don't give a fuck what he thinks about the show. No. Why would I give a shit what he thinks?
I just wondered if he maybe saw what you guys could produce and regretted letting you guys go there.
Give a shit.
Okay. Into the heavyweight fight, Arthur Lopez came out swinging. He was obviously a massive underdog. Do you think that's how people should fight if they're such a heavy underdog against such a bigger opponent?
Oh, listen, I got up and walked back and said to him, much respect. Listen, that guy should drop down to 205. And, Mick said, anybody who drops out of anything, I would love to have that guy in. Let me tell you what that guy's not going to do. Bum anybody out next time he fights. That guy's a dog. I loved it.
On Saturday, we announced John Jones, Stipe Miocic is officially happening. John then was seen ringside saying that this is probably the last one. I'm sure there could be negotiations involved, but have you spoke to him about maybe his future after this event?
Why speak to him after this event? You got to figure out what's going to happen in this fight. Yeah. See how this fight plays out, and then we'll go from there.
Is Tom Aspinall officially the backup for that fight?
Yes. Okay. Tom Aspinall is next in line for anything that happens after this fight.
Dana, I just have a quick question. Don Davis spoke today about the Francis fight that they're planning, and he says that he spent more on the production of that fight than you spent at the Sphere. And I'm just curious if you think that's possible. Don Davis, PFL, says he spent more than the Sphere.
I didn't even know who he was till you said it. So what did he say? He spent more?
He says he's spending more on the production of the Francis fight than you guys spent on the Sphere production.
Sounds like a good idea. Anyway. Good for him. Good luck. Hope it all works out.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Dana, do you have any report on Aido? He got taken away on a stretcher after that ground and pound.
What about him?
The guy that fought Gauthier. Do you have any report?
Yeah. Listen, you see his eye? He's definitely got a broken orbital or, something with his orbital. No doubt about it.
And he had trouble walking out, so,
Yeah. His whole eye was.
But I mean,
when he went back, his whole eye was this big. Yeah.
Yes, I saw that. But mentally,
broken orbital. Broken orbital.
Okay.
Sure, he was dizzy. Can't see out of one eye. Yeah.
Okay.
Broken orbitals are fucking painful.
Just a couple quick ones from me. O'Malley announces today he's having hip surgery, and I don't understand how these guys fight with. He has a torn labrum, and then 2 days later they're having surgery. I mean, isn't there a process in place? That's a pretty significant injury. You can't, fight at your best performance if you have a torn labrum, right?
I agree.
So how do you prevent that from happening where they're supposed to disclose to the commission and they don't do that?
You can't. You know what I mean? If these guys come in and they have something and we don't know, I mean, how would the doctors check for a torn labrum? You know what I mean? You can't.
Yeah, knowing what you know now, does that explain the performance, or do you think Merab was just so good in that fight that he was going to win the fight on that given night anyways?
Literally everybody reached out to me that night and said, Sean O'Malley didn't look like himself. He didn't look explosive. He didn't look, all the same stuff we were all saying that night.
Right. And then lastly,
not to take anything from Rob, but
correct.
I mean, everybody felt that way.
Last question. Can you just give a little more detail on this arena that you talked about? Is it the one that the people from the L.A. are talking about down off Las Vegas Boulevard, where they're talking about an NBA arena, or is this another project?
Oh, the arena? Yeah, no, it's a different one.
It's a different. And where would that be in this resort area they're talking, or somewhere?
Yeah, it's in Vegas. Yeah.
And down on the strip, area, that type of thing. Okay.
Yes.
Is there need for that type of thing here? Now you would have 4 or 5 arenas all within a couple mile span of each other.
I agree. I mean, they're popping up like crazy here. But listen, there's tons of sports coming to this town now. Between UFC, boxing, baseball, basketball, hockey, football, and God knows what else. Did I say soccer? Soccer. It's all coming here now.
How long is your deal?
And then you
left
got
with MGM?
concerts. I mean, nonstop concerts, and there's always something to do here. It's always going to need an arena.
How long is the exclusive with MGM left?
I don't know off the top of my head. Do you know, Craig? You know what the exclusive with MGM is that we have? How much time we have left on that contract? Yeah, we don't know.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Dana, over here. Speaking of the main event, Aaron, obviously, like you said, he looked like he was out in that first round, and then he started to come back and kind of made it a dogfight. Just looking at that fight, he might beat guys that are already on this UFC roster. Is he a guy that you might bring back to the Contender Series and just give him another shot?
Yeah, I would never say no. I mean, he in the first round, a lot of showboating and goofing around and was getting picked apart, and then came back dead serious in the second round and turned it into an absolute war. But, yeah, I mean, most of these guys, if they keep winning and doing their thing, they find their way back here. I think the only thing with him is he's 31 years old. You know what I mean?
So looking back at the Sphere again, you didn't have an answer post-fight, but did you anyone find all the Easter eggs?
Yeah, we had 28 people who found the Easter eggs. So they go into a pool, and the winner has already been determined. Legal has it right now, so Legal's dealing with it.
Was it a random drawing?
Yeah, it's a random drawing. Yeah, and there's all this. Can't be related to anybody. You can't fucking. If you ever said hi to somebody at the UFC, you're out. Fucking, you know. So it's.
Is that more people than you thought would find them all?
Yes. What do you think, Craig? It was Craig's. It's good you're in here. It was Craig's baby, actually. The whole Easter egg thing.
I think it helped that all the fights went the distance.
Yeah. It definitely did.
Time to check it out. But if there were a couple one-rounders in there, I thought it was going to be hard. Sure. Especially World 2.
The first two were insane.
Yeah.
The first two were like. Two was insane.
Actually, John Morgan's wife.
My wife found the second one. I was like, "You're fucking genius!" Like I never would have seen that. Yeah, but insane. And the first fight, like nobody saw that one going the distance. Like who would have ever thought that? You know. Yeah.
Just a couple more. Did you see that video of Jake Paul saying he was banned from all UFC events and then put the costume on?
Yeah. Listen, if Oscar De La Hoya was there, okay, let's put it that way. Nobody's banned from the UFC. Listen, that kid knows how to market and do his thing, and you know, all that good shit. But yeah, no, Jake Paul's welcome to come to UFC. He just can't bring that you know.
Then just one last one for me, just because a couple of Brazilian colleagues asked me to ask you. This past year, excluding the pandemic, is the first year you haven't been back to Sao Paulo since 2012. So I guess what are your plans for Brazil in 2025 moving forward?
Off the top of my head right here, right now, I don't know. But obviously, you know, Brazil is very important to us. And we're actually working on a big deal right now down in Brazil that hopefully we'll announce here pretty soon. So Brazil's very important market to us.
What kind of deal? Like a TV deal or what?
I'll let you know when we get closer. I don't want to throw any shit out there you don't want to throw anything out there when nothing's done.
Dana, just one last one on the Sphere. You know, obviously the screen was incredible. I thought the costume design was one of the most impressive things I've seen in quite a while. If you do take the show on the road, obviously there's not going to be a Sphere, but will the costume design be something that you try to work into the element if you do take the show on the road?
Well, the costume design was literally, I mean, as authentic as you could possibly get, and they were all real clothes, and you know, they were done by one of the best designers in Hollywood that does that stuff. So, you know, probably not. No, I mean, our Octagon girls don't wear that stuff, and that, you know, this was a one night only. I told you guys, this was a one of one. This was a one of one. If you went and you got to experience it, we did pull off translating it onto television, but it's definitely not like being there. If you were there, it was, I mean, I was involved in this thing from fucking the inception till it went off that night, right? When I first went to the first, and I said this before, when I went to the first rehearsal. I guess we would call that a rehearsal. For the first time that we went in there, I had, let's just say I had a load on me, man. I was stressed out. These guys messed up, and they opened with the marigold, the skull thing, and I went, I don't need to see anything else. This is it. We did it. We did it. Whatever else is coming, if it's even a quarter as good as this, we did it. And then we went to the full-blown rehearsal. And when the show open starts, and it starts basically at the beginning of time, and just fucking. Even that night, I went up. So I had a box. I had my family in a box, and we went up I sat up in the box for the whole open until like the marigold one, right? And it was just, I was blown away. And I've been a part of it since the very beginning. It was my idea, and yeah, I was blown away. And him and his team have literally killed themselves for 7 months. Guys are exhausted. One of them got sick. This took a toll on us, man. This is one of one. Done.
Thanks, Dana.
Adam, quick, which was your favorite movie part?
So it's hard to pick a favorite, but leading up to it, my favorite was Valentina and Grasso, with the statues and the whole thing. And I don't know if you noticed, but they were walking. That was all filmed. That wasn't. And then it timed out to where they walked out. You thought they just walked through that hallway. But it's hard to, the opening with the big bang and whatever, and it's the skull one is hard not to love. I mean, so good. Good? All right. Thanks, you guys.
Well, congratulations on the win. How are you feeling?
I'm very good.
How does it feel to be a UFC fighter officially?
چی احساس میکنی که حال یک سپورتمن UFC هستی؟
My feel is very good. My life is now changed.
How do you think your life will change now?
چی رقم زندگی چینج میه؟
Because UFC is high level the area, that's I watch. I'm open my Instagram. I watch because a lot of people now is account follow me. My country people is a lot of post my video, change my life.
Is there a little bit of fear now? Because now that you're known, you have all these people following you, you have to perform each time, or you're going to have that same amount of people saying negative things to you.
حالا که در مرکز UFC آمدی کدام احساس ترس داری چون حالا که در UFC شامل شدی مردم زیاد از باره خالیگاهت یا خوبیایت یا کی باید کنه یا ای باید کنه چیز ترس احساس میکنی؟
نه خیر هیچ کدام ترس چیزی نیست.
No, I don't fear anything. I'm ready for the future.
When you thought about this moment, becoming a UFC fighter for the first time, is this the way that you pictured the moment being?
امی مسابقه را وقتی که اول دفعه در UFC شامل شدی اما تو یک فکر میکردی که اما تو یک سبمیشن داخل میشدی یا چی فکر میکردی؟
I'm a lot of training for this fight because I'm for this fight for 2 weeks ready for this fight. I'm no short contest fighter for 2 weeks. Little bit time give me for next fight the UFC 2 months fight camp. I show you the cage, the UFC, who is really fighter in the lightweight.
Have you thought a little bit about how your debut could go, where you'd like to fight or how soon you'd like to fight?
از باره از این فکر کردی که مسابقه اول چی وقت شوه یا که کی شوه کدام پیشنهاد اگه داری؟
No problem. Next week I'm start training. Next month I'm ready for next fight.
Do you have somebody you'd like to fight first?
کدام کس هست که میخوای سرش صدا کنی؟
No, I'm ready for all of 155 lightweight UFC fighter. I'm ready. I'm now in the UFC. I'm ready for all of 155.
Thank you.
Just one for me. What does it say, or what do you think about the fact that Sean Shelby is the one that really went to boot and wanted to make sure that you were part of the team? You obviously made a big impression on him, but what does that say to you that Sean was asking that he wanted you on the UFC?
شان شلبی زیاد ازت حمایت کرد و زیاد برات کوشش کرد که در UFC داخل شوی از باره ازی چی صحبت یا چی فکر داری؟
ما تشکری میکنم از شان شلبی به خاطر که میفهمه و بگراند مرا خوانده. ما به شرایط دشواری آمدم و در سال 2021 وقتی که افغانستان سقوط کرد و ما 2 شب و 2 روز در بین طیاره بودم و طالبان قصد کشتن ما داشت. استوری من خیلی دردآور است اگر هر کسی ببینه جگرش خون میشه به خاطر که من با هزاران مشکلات به اینجا رسیدم و او شان میفهمه که من با وجودی که کار میکنم و تمرین میکردم یعنی یک زندگی سخت بود به من دقیقه مدت.
I really want to give gratitude to Sean Shelby. I think he's one of the people who have really tuned in on my journey. I've been through a lot of hardships the last couple years with having my name be in certain places where I'm not wanted. So making this journey and having Sean Shelby support, he sees that I work in the day or at night and I train in the day, and he's really helped me. So I really just want to extend my gratitude to Sean Shelby and appreciate and thank him for his support.
Congrats on the win and welcome to the UFC.
Thank you, sir.
Well, congratulations. How does it feel to be an official UFC fighter?
That's feel good.
Did you imagine this moment being like this, or did you picture something different for when you became a UFC fighter?
I always imagine this moment, like that's why I'm working. That's why I work every day, work hard with my team. Always I imagine this moment. That was my dream. Yeah.
How long have you been dreaming about this?
Since I started MMA,
When was that? When did you start MMA?
4 years ago.
Well, only 4 years.
Yes, I have 22 years old.
So when you look at your career going forward, what's your next goal? What's your next step?
My next step, my goal is to have the belt. And that's my goal. Yeah. My goal was on this fight. My goal is to have the belt.
So what do you see you having to do to get there? Do you see it coming in 5 years, 10 years, 1 year? What's the ultimate goal to get to that title?
Soon as possible.
And what's your dream for your UFC debut? Do you have a location you'd like to fight at, or a date, or even an opponent?
I'm gonna fight anyone they're gonna give me to fight. Not fight, I'm gonna beat him. Yeah.
How do you see that debut going?
I see that debut going good. Yeah.
How soon do you want to get back in there?
Sorry?
How soon do you want to get back in there? Do you have
Soon as possible, just to keep me busy.
How often do you want to fight a year?
Maybe 5 times a year.
Really?
Yes, I'm still young. I'm just doing MMA, nothing else.
What did you think of this experience from the day you got here all the way through now? What did you think of just the way the UFC is run, the fight, the fans out there? What did you think?
I love that.
Did it go the way you thought it would in terms of what you had anticipated for the UFC to be like?
I didn't anticipate anything. I just follow my coach. If he asks me to do, I'm just doing it. I trust him.
Thank you.
Just one quick one, other side. Who are some of the fighters you watched when you first were starting in MMA?
One more time, please.
Which were there fighters that you'd like to watch when you were first starting MMA 4 years ago?
To be honest, when I started MMA, I didn't watch any fighters. I used to fight in the street. So for me, it was just fight, no one. But after, first time when I went in UK, I see Lauren Murphy. First time when I saw him, I said, oh my God, I want to be like this guy. For me, he had high level, he was so good, so I want to be like him.
Just follow up on that. You said you had a lot of street fights. Were those like fun set up street fights, or were they you were fighting because you were defending yourself on the street?
All of that.
Which did you do more of?
Everything.
Thank you.
Dana was just in here, and he mentioned how excited he is for Africa to continue to pump out talent the way they've been doing. You are now the second African fighter in a row in Contender Series to get a contract. So how long do you think it'll take for Africa to become one of those powerhouse regions in MMA?
To be honest, I can't give you like a date or something like that, but I think they are coming, they are coming.
And Dana wants to do a card in South Africa next year. I'm assuming that's one of your goals, to be a part of that one day.
So one more time, please.
Dana wants to do a card in South Africa next year. I'm sure you want to be a part of it.
Of course, I want to be part of this.
Thank you.
Thank you too.
Well, congratulations. How does it feel? You can drink if you want. He wants to drink, I think. No, never mind. Okay. Congratulations. How does it feel to be an official UFC fighter?
Parabéns, como você se sente sendo oficialmente um lutador do UFC?
Muito obrigado. Me sinto bem, me sinto realizado. Mais uma meta alcançada e agora me preparar para os próximos passos.
Thank you very much. I feel great. I just realized a dream, and now it's just about to get ready for the next step.
When you thought about this moment, I'm sure that you've thought about it for a long time. Did it live up to what you had imagined all those years?
Quando você pensou por esse momento, é óbvio que você pensou muitas vezes em chegar nesse momento. Chegou perto do que você imaginou durante esses anos todos?
Sem dúvida alguma. Eu já tinha mentalizado essa luta 1 milhão de vezes antes de acontecer, mas acho que a ficha não caiu ainda. Logo vai cair, porque é muita coisa acontecendo ao mesmo tempo, mas estou feliz pra caramba.
For sure, no doubts about it. I thought about this fight 1 million times in my life, but to be honest, it didn't hit me already. I'm sure it's going to hit me in a while, but yeah, I'm going to enjoy as much as I can.
Did you always anticipate it being a first-round knockout?
Você imaginava, sempre imaginou que seria um nocaute no primeiro assalto?
Sim, já tinha imaginado que seria um nocaute, já tinha visualizado, já tinha pensado nessa luta 1 milhão de vezes, como eu falei. Então, em todas elas, eu já tinha imaginado nocauteando no primeiro round e foi como eu falei na entrevista no Fight Pass que eu ia nocautear e assim eu fiz.
Yes, for sure. I was thinking about it. I did an interview to UFC Fight Pass, and I told them I'm gonna knock him out in the first round, like all my fights. That's how I fight.
Did you know that you were sort of the star of the card even before you started fighting? Everybody was talking about your fight, specifically you. Does that give you extra motivation or extra pressure knowing that a lot of people were already thinking about you?
Você sabia que você era meio que uma das estrelas, ou talvez a estrela desse card, mesmo antes de lutar? Muitas pessoas estavam falando sobre você. Você sabia disso? Se sabia, você acha que adicionou talvez uma pressão?
Não imaginava, porque acredito eu que só venho aqui fazer meu trabalho, sair na mão, me divertir, então eu não carrego esse peso. Só venho aqui, óbvio, no meu trabalho, mas eu sempre venho pensando em me divertir, sair daqui realizado.
Actually, I didn't know that. So, but to be honest, even if I knew, my job is just to come here, have fun, and do my job, like exchange punches, and have fun, and go home.
Were you excited to see all those fans? I'm sure you've checked your Instagram, maybe you haven't yet. See everybody talking about you?
Tá feliz, tá animado com a ideia de ganhar fãs, ver os fãs falando de você no Instagram. Ela não sabe se você já checou suas redes sociais ou não, mas você está animado de ver a repercussão dessa luta?
Sem dúvida, estou animado, eu quero ver, ainda não vi. Quando eu saí, eu só quis falar com minha mãe, com minha irmã, primeiramente. Mas é sempre um peso muito grande para você se aparecer para os fãs e tudo mais, mas acredito que é tudo fruto do trabalho.
Absolutely, I'm excited about it. Actually, I didn't check my social media yet. The first thing I'm going to do now is call my mom and my sister, and after that, I'm going to check all my social medias. I know that it's a pressure to talk to the fans and whatever, but at the end of the day, it's part of my job, so I don't care this weight on my shoulders.
And the next step is going to be your UFC debut. Have you had a chance to think about where you might want to have that fight happen, or an opponent, or a date, or anything like that?
Sua próxima luta vai ser sua estreia no UFC. Você já teve a oportunidade de pensar sobre isso? Quando, contra quem, alguma data?
Eu espero estrear no card do John Jones, porque é um cara que eu sempre admirei bastante. E está perto, e acredito eu que eu vou lá, vou fazer um show e cair nas graças do povo.
I would love to fight in John Jones' card. It's kind of close, but I'm going to be ready, and I would love to do that. He's an inspiration for me. I was always looking at his fights, so if I have the chance, I'm going to be ready.
Thank you.
That Jones fight is in your division. It is right around the corner. It was announced officially. Give me your analysis, your thoughts on that one, and congrats on the contract.
O John Jones está na sua divisão, vai lutar agora, a luta está perto. Foi anunciada oficialmente a luta dele. me dê a sua opinião sobre a luta que ele vai fazer e parabéns pelo contrato.
Muito obrigado. Acredito eu que o John Jones vai se sobressair nessa luta, vai sair vitorioso. É um cara, para mim, ao meu ver, é um dos melhores da história, se não o melhor. Então, acredito eu que ele vai sair campeão dessa luta.
Thank you very much. And yeah, I believe John Jones is going to dominate this fight. I believe he's going to win. He's one of the best, if not the best, of all time. And yeah, I do believe he's going to win this fight for sure.
Excellent. And last for me, I can agree with you on the domination. He is one of the greatest of all times. But we hope maybe we get like a firefight. You just had one of those. Some exchanges that were really dangerous, could have gone either way. How were you able to see that finish and walk me through it? The fight he just had, it was some dangerous exchanges back and forth to where anybody could have got caught, but how was he able to see that opening to get the knockout?
A sua luta foi muito movimentada, muita troca de golpes, agressiva e perigosa para os dois lados. Mas quando e como você foi capaz de ver o momento para conseguir o nocaute?
Acredito eu que eu fui construindo o nocaute. Talvez tenha sido um pouco raro, muitos golpes desferidos, mas eu vi boas oportunidades tanto para botar para baixo quanto para trocar, só que eu preferi manter a luta em pé e buscar o nocaute.
I do believe that I was building the knockout through the fight. I did miss some punches and I saw some opportunities to take him down, but I decided to strike him, and I saw the opportunity right there, and I took advantage of.
Congrats, and well done, sir.
Thank you.
Oh, happy birthday, Amy Kaplan.
Congratulations. How does it feel to be an official UFC fighter?
Man, it feels great. You know, this is my dream. Been dreaming about this for the past 4 years since 2020 when we started this dream. So to be able to make it become a reality, it means a lot.
Did the moment live up to what you'd thought about since then?
Man, it's been a wild ride. The 2.5-week notice against a tough guy. Definitely, he came in a lot. We knew he was going to be tough, but he was definitely a lot tougher than what I thought. But we went out there, put on a beautiful performance, a wild performance, impressed Dana, and not just impressed Dana, but I impressed myself. You know, to know that I can go to war and you know, create a fan favorite fight. You know, that to me is you know, what we do. You know, we're entertainers, so I feel like I went out there and was able to do that.
I know everybody obviously wants a flashy knockout or a nice submission, but like you said, it proves a little bit more that you can go through a fight like that. Did you anticipate it having to be that difficult and that fiery?
No, I was really anticipating, like, I was envisioning a first-round knockout, for real. Like, just from the way how he holds his hands in previous fights. But he actually had his guard up. He switched up his stance, was a little bit more disciplined than I've seen in his past fights from when I was watching him. So kudos to him. But, yeah, I definitely thought we was going to get him out in the first round, possibly submission. Definitely hoping for a knockout, but hey, you know what? It is what it is. We prepare for the worst and hope for the best.
There was a lot of talk about his tattoo and how scary it was, and did that affect you at all, seeing that across?
No. My girlfriend, she's Samoan, so I mean, I understand that that's their culture. Doesn't really faze me. At the end of the day, we're all human, so. Anybody has a puncher's chance, so that I don't think there's anything in this world that could really rattle me.
Looking forward, what do you have in mind for your UFC debut? Do you have a date you'd like to fight or a location or anything?
I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of beat up right now, but shoot, I always envisioned myself fighting in Madison Square Garden. That's always been the dream. I mean, if the UFC calls, I'll talk with my pops and talk with my team and see what makes sense and go from there.
Did you always know you were going to be a fighter?
Nah, if you would have asked me this back in 2019, this wouldn't have even been a thought. But yeah, like you guys have all heard in everything in the previous interviews that I said, 2020 COVID year, that's really what got this dream started, and since then we haven't looked back.
Was it just because you were bored during COVID, or why then?
Yeah, I was really bored. I mean, I needed to do something to stay active. I thought I was still gonna go play football, so I didn't want to just hang around the house and just chill out while I felt like everybody else was getting better. And yeah, me and my pops were just in the gym and training, boxing, kickboxing, wrestling, and I just tossed out an idea like, hey, what if I took a fight? And he didn't believe me. At first he didn't believe me. He thought I was just messing around, but he finally took me serious, and we went out there, took my first amateur fight, and the rest is history.
Thank you.
Just a quick one right here. We see a lot of these second-generation athletes in the NBA and the NFL, and when they make it to the pro, I think the thing that kind of sets them apart is like they grew up in that environment, so they know not just how to act, but like what it takes to get there. They know like the grind of the road and the grind of having to wake up every day. Do you feel like that kind of sets you apart from the rest of these guys that are winning at the Contender Series?
Oh yeah, I mean definitely. But I always felt like I always knew I was something special. So the grind was always installed into me since I was a little kid. I mean, of course, my pops, he installed it into me, and yeah, I mean, I just truly believed I was something special, and in order to be something special, you really have to work your hardest to get to that point.
And Amy kind of touched upon it, but like when you see these guys with these unbelievable knockouts and they keep racking up these performances, the question's always like, well, what if they get into a firefight? What if they have to push through in the third round? You did that to win a contract, so I think, are you expecting kind of not special treatment, but like maybe a high, like not a ranked guy, but like a higher skilled guy for your first fight because you showed a lot in 15 minutes that not everyone does at Contenders?
Yeah, I would say you give me a good, you give me a full fight camp. I feel like my performance with a full fight camp will look even better than this. But this right here, I think it's a little bit better than just going out there and getting a knockout, because now you have a bigger sample size of what type of fighter you're gonna get.
And last one for me, you glad you didn't have to go through the tough house like your dad?
Oh yeah. No, thank you, Dana White, for creating a Contender Series, because I don't know if I could. I don't know if I could do the tough house. I don't know if I could do the Ultimate Fighter. No, that's a different level of pressure cooker. Yeah, twice at that.
It was easy to see the pride on your father's face when he was standing next to you while you were getting the post-fight interview. How happy are you and how proud of your own achievement to be able to share this moment with him?
Yeah, I'm super, super happy and super grateful because I know how hard he worked to get this vision started and going. And like I said, my dad, he made his own gym back in 2009, Victory MMA, and to be his first fighter into the UFC, I mean, that I know I made him proud tonight. I know that.
How did he rate your first post-fight interview?
Man.
Did he give you feedback already? It was funny watching his emotion. It was funny watching his face as you were talking. I didn't know if he gave you any feedback on that.
Man, nah, he hasn't given me any feedback on it. But I mean, yo, you got to have some type of character. So I mean, I just whatever came into my head just came into my head. I mean, I've been having these feelings and these thoughts for the last 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks or so. So to finally just to get it off my shoulders, I just had to get it off my shoulders.
And I could be wrong, but I think this is the second time we've only had the father-son that have both been in the UFC. So
who's the first?
The Coutures.
Randy and Ryan.
Oh, dang.
So I mean, but
Yeah,
that's kind of set you guys up to create something unique and different that nobody else has done before. Does that kind of excite you, the potential possibility?
Yeah, no, it doesn't even start. It doesn't stop here. I understand that the road it only gets tougher, but we only get better from here. So to be the second, like you said, I mean, wow, what a journey it's been these last 4.5 years. It's been such a crazy, wild ride. Like I couldn't even imagine something like this. Like I said back in 2019, but we're here. I'm 22 years old. Just turned 22 back on the 5th. So this was a late birthday gift to myself.
When you were younger, say you're going through school, high school, and things like that sort, what did you envision that you would be doing at this point?
Man, I thought I was going to be a football player. I thought I was going to get drafted to the NFL. I fight out 135 pounds, so I guess that career definitely changed. Yeah, I mean, it makes the most sense. I'm not having to go against, others 6'6", 300-some pound guys trying to, tackle me and all that stuff. So I'm able to compete against my own weight class as people somewhat similar to my size and see who's the better man. So I think it was a good deal.
And what's neat for us seeing fighters like yourself at the beginning of their career is to see where they're from. Is your community, have they been watching your journey as well? And did they realize that you were coming here tonight, and were they at home watching you on this?
Man, I feel like I had the whole city behind me. Like they've seen my journey from when I made my amateur debut. And they've been with me all by my side, and yeah, it was really dope to see them, see the watch party, and everybody's going crazy. I mean, like my phone is blowing up right now. I want to answer to everybody, but unfortunately I won't be able to get to everybody. But I want them to know that I really do appreciate the love and support, and I want to keep giving back to the community and being an inspiration to my community and to all my friends and family and training partners. Like, guys, you can make anything happen if you just put your mind and your heart into it.
And that's it. I feel like we're seeing you at the very beginning of your career, but like you said, you are going to be a role model for that community. So any young kids that maybe watched you tonight, what would you say to young kids in your hometown?
I would say, stay disciplined. Stay disciplined. Enjoy your craft. Really make it, something that you want to, be successful in. I mean, me and also Raquel Pennington, we're both from Colorado Springs, so it's really dope to put Colorado Springs on the map. She went to Harrison, I went to Sierra. So, I mean, it shows, like, if you just keep working, keep grinding, no matter how hard it gets. There's going to be some days that you don't want to go into the gym, you don't want to train. I have those days, every athlete has those days, but it's just something in your mind that has to tell you, like, hey, you got to get up. You got to go, you got to put in the work in. It might suck now, but it's going to pay off later.
That's awesome. I got to ask, what position did you play in football?
Oh, man, yeah, I damn near, I played coach, cheerleader, referee. Man, I was all over the place. But for real, I played like, I was running back, slot, wide receiver, kick return, everywhere. I felt like I was all over the field.
Congratulations. Welcome to the UFC.
Thank you.
What's your team?
Sierra Stallions. My football team. My bad. Woo! That was my high school team. That was my high school team.
I was going to say, like, I have no idea who that is.
So what is that? Nah, my team, 49ers, baby. Bang, bang, Niner gang.
Sorry about last season.
Come on, you don't have to bring that up.
Just a quick one for me. You mentioned the UFC's perspective on having a battle-tested guy in Contender, but from your perspective, you mentioned you wanted a knockout, but do you think this dog-type fight will benefit you more in the long term, given the takeaways you got from this fight?
I think this just shows that I do have that dog in me, but again, I don't want to keep going out there and having these, banging fights. I want to go out there and I want to finish these guys. I'm a finisher at heart. I want to get these UFC bonuses. I don't want to get fight of the night bonus. I don't want that. I want knockout of the night bonuses. That's what's gonna get us paid. That's what's gonna get butts and seats. And yeah, we're gonna keep working towards that. Keep getting better. And yeah.
In your post-fight interview was brought up. You also said there that you dealt with messages, trolls.
Yeah.
How was that dealing? How was dealing like that for a Contender fight?
Man, I would just hold it. Man, I had guys hitting me up like, "Oh, he's gonna kill you. He's gonna knock you out. This and that. You might as well. Just crazy stuff." And they'll DM me, and I just hold on to that. I'm gonna hold on to that because I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep them receipts. And once I come out here with this win and get this contract, I'm gonna bring it up, and it just shows like I think they definitely woke up another dog in me. That was their mistake. They should have kept their comments to themselves, been respectful. I'm always respectful to my opponents, and I hope my friends and family aren't doing the same thing. I don't promote that. But yeah, I mean, I hope that humbled him.
If I'm not mistaken, amongst those messengers was Dan Hooker, I believe you said?
I mean, I don't know if that's true, but I did see in an interview that Dan Hooker said that he likes to send messages from like burner accounts just to mess with the opponents. So if that was him, then I mean, it didn't work. So
we're assuming a couple of them were Dan Hooker then.
Yeah, I'm gonna just assume that. Yeah, but I respect those guys at City Kickboxing, Adesanya, Kai Kara-France, Dan Hooker. I mean, these guys are elite level fighters, so they deserve their flowers. But like I said, yeah, that messaging stuff, it obviously didn't work.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Just